Alright guys, I got a quick video here on the Axis Flying Air Force Pro X8. This is the octocopter, the 8-motor Cinewhoop, and as you saw in the first video, the flight time wasn't so great on the recommended setup with the 4S850 and full-size GoPro. I have now added the actual antenna and the GoPro mount. This is all factory now, and because they sent me the extra parts they were missing before. But I wanted to show you that you can get a little more flight time if you adjust the settings. If you're not really into the performance aspect of this and you want more flight time, then obviously with the full-size GoPro and the full battery, you just have to make a few setting changes in Betaflight and also flash the ESCs to updated firmware to run RPM filter. So I'm not going to go into every little step-by-step detail because I have videos on how to flash the firmware, how to set up RPM filter, all that. I will link those videos down in the video description. But I'm going to show you what I actually changed in terms of my settings. I am using the BlueJ firmware, using the latest configurator, which it's basically just a website, ESC configurator, I think it's .com. I'll link that down in the video description as well. And then I just flashed the ESCs with the latest BlueJ firmware. When you do that, motors 3, 4, and 7 and 8 will go from reverse direction to normal, and then so you'll have to basically reapply that. So I think 1 and 2 and 5 and 6 are going to be normal. 3 and 4 and 7 and 8 are going to be reversed, so that's going to be proper. I flashed the 96 kilohertz firmware, so basically to give you the maximum amount of additional flight time. It's going to make the motor smoother and not as they actually run cooler as well in terms of temperature, but you have to change some things in Betaflight. You have to enable RPM filter. I also put in something in the CLI called thrust linear. I set that to 25, and you can probably set it a little bit higher if you want a little bit more responsiveness on the low end of the throttle. So you can probably raise it up to like 30 or 35 if you want to, as it's a feel thing. You know, go with a number that you like, but I set mine to 25, and I increased my flight time from about 2 minutes to about 3 minutes. So I guess that's a 50% increase in flight time, I guess. And you know, it's not like, oh, it's amazing or anything, but 2 minutes is like, wow, that's pretty low. 3 minutes is a little bit better, but you're not doing like a lot of acro tricks and stuff like that, but you're going to get some nice smooth Cinewhoop flying if that's what your goal is on this particular model. You can also go to a bigger battery. I did try an 1100 4S, but I think because of the extra weight, the trade-off with the extra battery capacity is almost nullified, so I didn't see that much more flight time, maybe 10 seconds, 15 seconds more flight time on the bigger battery. And I didn't like the flying characteristics on because everything's a lot heavier. So for that trade-off, I just decided to go with the lighter battery. Now, maybe my 850s aren't the highest quality. If you go to like a more expensive 850 4S, you might be able to squeeze in another, maybe 15-30 seconds of flight time. If they're newer, of course. So my batteries are kind of oldish and not the mediocre quality, and I was going to be able to get about 3 minutes. Anyway, quick video here. If you bought this or if you're considering buying this and maybe want to get more flight time, you just have to make those changes. You'll have to follow the instructions and all of the videos linked down in the video description on how to flash BlueJ firmware and how to set up RPM filter. Other than that, I also showed you in the video here, my screen grabs of what I changed specifically for this model. Just apply that to the instructions on the other videos, and you should be good to go if you don't know how to do this at all. But, again, if you have any questions, let me know down in the comment section, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Alright, so I'm not going to be doing anything crazy. It's only, well, it's pretty windy right now. And I just want to see how much flight time we can get into this altered setup with new settings. I can already tell that the voltage sag is much better than it was before. I have the GoPro on here, but I'm not recording the GoPro footage because I'm primarily interested in the FPV feed and the battery voltage and all that, so that will be the primary focus of this video. I'm going to try and run it down to the same voltage, about 13.5 volts. I think that's what it sagged down to when I landed. It will recover, of course, but yeah, I can already tell that the voltage sag is much better. Like I think at this time in the stock setup, around 1 minute, it was already down to like 13.9. So this is much more. I could tell it's already drawing way fewer amps. It's actually a lot windier today than it was the other day when I flew it first in that other video. So maybe it's using even more energy in this wind. That's hard to tell. Hard to really say. Hard to compare. I'm also flying a little bit different spot. Not really flying too crazy here. So I'm down at 14.2 at 145. Yeah, it's quite windy right now. In this little area here, there's hardly any wind. So now I'm finally down to about 14 volts at 2 minutes. Okay, there's all this metal fencing here. I'm sure that is not good for my video feed. I'm gonna get over this stuff here. Yeah, as soon as I clear that metal fencing, it got much better. 13.8, 13.7, 13.6, 13.5. Okay, so now it's starting to drop. All right, so let's bring it on in. So a slight improvement. About 45 more seconds.